Today is October 17th, 2023, and we'll call this meeting to order at 8 a.m. Before we get started, I'd like to remind everyone to mute their phone. You can do this by pressing *6. Please unmute yourself when called to speak, again pressing *6. It is very important for all others to remain muted. Thank you. We will start out with our Board of Commissioners roll call. Commissioner Bell.
Good morning.
Good morning. And Commissioner Yamamoto.
Yes, good morning.
Good morning. All right, and now we will jump in with Adventist Health Tillamook. I do see Eric Swanson on the call. Good morning, Eric.
Hey, good morning, Commissioner. How are you?
Good.
Good. We have 10 patients in the hospital this morning. 4 surgery cases scheduled today. Our ambulance crews did 4 911 transports yesterday, 1 transfer, 1 transport home. There's 124 patients boarding in emergency departments across Oregon. That's 49 more than yesterday. 422 patients waiting to be discharged, which is 9 more than yesterday. I want to share with you an exciting little thing we're doing next week. Next Thursday, October 26th, we will be doing our annual alumni luncheon, and that's one of my most favorite things to do every year, where we get people who've been part of our medical staff, volunteers, retirees come back together, and we do a luncheon with them once a year, so they get to see each other, stay connected with Adventist Health, and hear about updates and things that we've got going on here at Adventist Health. So for those of you who are retirees listening on the phone, remember that we have our luncheon next week on the 26th at Nazarene Church. So unless you have any questions for me, I need to jump off the call and head to the dentist. So.
Oh, that does not sound like fun. Any questions
for
Eric?
It is
totally
fun. I'm getting my teeth cleaned and flossed, and yeah, it's great. I have no problem going to the dentist.
Oh, good for you. Good for you. Any questions for Eric before we let him go to the dentist? All right, not hearing any. Thank you. And we will move on to, you betcha. Thanks for it. We'll move on to the Coastal Caucus. I know that we have Senator Weber with us this morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Did you get to see the sunrise this morning?
Yes.
Talk about gorgeous. I saw a sunrise up on Highway 30 on Thursday morning. No, it was Friday morning last week. That was just about as beautiful as it was absolutely gorgeous. But you know that old saying, red sky at night, sailors delight, red sky at morning, sailors take warning. I'm afraid the clouds are coming in and we'll probably have more rain. I had a very busy week. Now, I tell you these things that I do because I want you to know that this job entails so many aspects. It's meeting people, it's going to organizations, it's speaking, it's finding out just what our area especially needs. And so this week I had the pleasure of speaking before the Chamber of Commerce in North Plains. We talked about things like they're needing a food bank and not having access to that. We talked about bills that had been in session last time that could have impacted them positively and bills that are impacting them negatively. So it was a really good conversation about what it is happening in our legislature. And people, are concerned. They want to know what they can do. And it's that same thing. Get involved. Find out what's going on. Don't be hesitant to contact your legislators to express your opinions and ask the questions, ask the hard questions that you need to ask. I also got to meet with a physical therapist in Banks to talk about some of the challenges that they have in their profession, especially if they're a small business that provides physical therapy. And I met with the school superintendent also, and he was telling me some of the challenges that are coming down with the bill, Senate Bill 819, and how that may be affecting our school districts and our kids' abilities to go out and work when they have completed all of their credits. One thing I have learned is that we as an area have not really paid attention to our infrastructure, especially if we want growth. One thing that we haven't done is we haven't spent a lot of money and a lot of time, and it is expensive, on our infrastructure, our water and our sewer especially. And unfortunately, that's coming back to bite us, because I'm not sure that there is enough money ever anywhere to be able to keep up and to repair what we have. Because, if it's in the ground, you don't see it, you don't think about it unless it fails. There is an opportunity for you as a homeowner to be able to buy insurance on your laterals and on your lines that connect to the city. And I think that you should look into that. I did. I haven't needed it yet, but I know that repairs on those sorts of things are very expensive, and it probably would behoove you to look into it and see what you need to do in order to protect yourself. I went to Rainier for the city-county meeting, and I told you that last week that I was going to be doing that, and it was a room full of mayors and managers and councilors and county commissioners that wanted to talk about the health of Columbia County. And I think that if it were in Tillamook, it would be the same. If it would be in Clatsop, it would be the same. The same issues would be coming up. The impacts of homelessness, mental health, and especially Measure 110 on our economy and the health of our people in our area. There are so many health challenges that are impacting our economy. Did we come up with any solutions? No. The governor has a new committee to address this also. What will come out of it, I don't know. Senator Knopp was at that meeting, and he talked about that very thing, about how we're going to be able to address this for the health of our people. And then I have to tell you that I also went to Beaverton, Hillsborough area, right there on the border, to tour the vacated 911 center that they're going to be turning into a center for addiction triage and treatment, and their plans to be able to create a facility that is going to basically have several services all in one place to meet the needs of people with addiction problems. It is very encouraging to be able to see that. They're working very hard. It's going to be very costly, as I'm sure you know, but their plans for the future, they're going to be, by 2025, there's going to be, the part of the facility is going to be open, and I think it will be something that our area and our urban area especially are in dire need of. Last week I told you could figure out how much you could get back on your kicker. You can go to something called Revenue Online, and it has a calculator there, so it can tell you what your kicker is going to be. Probably won't ever have a kicker as large as this again, and there are a lot of people that right now are trying to work for kicker reform to be able to take that money and use it for, all kinds of things, roads, schools, wildfires. But if you have an opinion on that, remember to express it. But it would be a good idea for you to go and look to see how much you are potentially going to get because of this. Then on Friday, Rep. Javity and I both were on a working forest tour up in Clatsop County, and we went to the Great Creek Tree Farm, which is adjacent to a fish hatchery, and looked at a bridge installation on a fish stream and how they were able to install the bridge and not disturb the area that the stream where the fish are. It was a beautiful bridge, actually. Then we went and looked at a cutting and thinning operation, looking at all of the modern technology and equipment that they're using to be able to do this. That was also fascinating to see how these machines can go in there and cut the trees down and not disturb the rest of the forest, and how healthy a forest looks after it's been thinned, because then the strongest can survive more readily. And then we also went and looked at recreation areas in the Clatsop Forest with all of the parks they have there and all of the issues, all of the parks that they have that address certain kinds of recreation, like horses and four-wheelers and hiking trails and the people that work on those things. And there were also a lot of comparisons to Tillamook County and how Tillamook County is doing the same sorts of things, and how it's a relationship where a lot of people are working together to make sure that our forests are managed for the best results. And I'd say there were about 50 people on the tour, and we heard from a lot of different people to tell us about what was going on, including the foresters and the timber owners. And we talked about planting. We looked at how we were going forward with replanting, how many hundreds of thousands of trees are replanted every year in our forests, Tillamook and Clatsop. And so then yesterday, riveting day, spent most of the day with my team talking about potential legislation, because we are restricted to 2 bills in the short session this year. And so what is the bill that's going to go forward that is going to have the most likelihood of passing for the best results for the people? And so we're still discussing that. We have a long list of items to go through. But in the meantime, I'm going to continue my committee meetings for the week on literacy and substitute teachers and clean fuels, and then at the end of the week I'm going to get an aerial demonstration of application of pesticides, and I'm really looking forward to that, because I especially want to find out how it's being handled, especially on the coast, what laws and rules and what kind of issues people are bringing forward that they're concerned about that I can help to alleviate. So thanks again. I'm sorry I blathered on and on and on, but it's been a good week. So thank you again for the opportunity to tell you what it is that is happening with your legislator. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator. Appreciate that. Commissioners, any questions for the Senator? Not hearing any, I'm pleased to share that we have Representative Javity with us this morning. Representative, would you like to give a little report out?
Javity.
I can see that you're here. Are you with us?
801-5363.
I'm going to guess he may be logged in and have either had to step away from his phone or having trouble unmuting. So *6 is unmute if you're having trouble unmuting.
There we go.
Oh, okay, good. Star 6 didn't work the first time, so I thought...
Oh, there you are. Wonderful, thank
Sorry.
you.
I'm here. Sorry, Star 6 and me are learning to get along. Well, how are you guys doing?
Good.
Good. Well, I enjoyed hearing everything that Senator Weber had to say, and I think she said it all, so thanks for having me, and I'll see you next week. Just kidding. All right.
Come on now, you're a
we should do a
politician.
block-
You've got things to say.
People do not want to hear politicians speak, I think. Let's see. She covered a lot. I just got back from the American Dental Association conference. I went there kind of with the dual purpose. One as a legislator to kind of tap into what type of healthcare policy issues are being discussed at the national level, both in dentistry and medicine, but also to work with them on some dental-specific policy as their secretary. And had a good meeting. I think a lot of good things came out of that. I don't think anything that will impact Oregon right away, but we are looking at things like a medical loss ratio, which is going to put a little bit more pressure on the insurance companies to make sure they're paying out enough benefits. At least 85% of their premium dollars, we want to see that returned to, or we want to see that spent on healthcare for Oregonians, and it's right now something less than 85%. So we think that'll be a win for patients and Oregonians if we can get that type of policy. And I don't think we'll see that in the short session, but it is something on my agenda for the long session in 2025. Other news, I was appointed to the House leadership team on the Republican side, so I'm working with the new minority leader, Jeff Helfrich, and his team to help draft policy and strategy for the upcoming session, and that's a pretty new change, so not much to report there, but we're trying to put all our ducks in a row. Like Senator Weber said, we did do that forestry tour. Wow, what an eye-opener. How cool is that? I got to see some thinning operations and really talk with the Department of Forestry about how they're managing the forest, and just a fantastic group of people, some real professionals. I can tell you that they know how to take care of our forests, the loggers and the employees that work at the department at the local level better than anybody, and I totally trust what they're up to up there. I know they care about the forest. Segues into the Habitat Conservation Plan, which continues to be a hot topic in our district, which, for those that don't know, is the Department of Forestry and Industry's plan to limit how we harvest our forests and protect the endangered species. And the main thrust behind that is really to provide some protection and reduction in liability for the state of Oregon, but as well as industry. And it is something that both industry, like Hampton and Stimson and all of our loggers want, but finding the right balance between managing harvest levels and at the same time protecting species. Meeting both those goals continues to be a hotly debated topic, especially since the reduction in harvest levels, as we probably reported several times, will reduce revenues coming into our counties, and that will impact, I'm sure you guys know a lot more about this than I do, your budget at the county level, as well as in our district and elsewhere, and at the Department of Forestry level as well. And so we continue. I went to the board meeting last month and testified again there, and continue to work with State Forester and others to make sure we come up with we adopt a plan that will not decimate our communities, which if the HCP as currently proposed goes through, I don't know how our counties, our schools, our special district law enforcement will be able to manage the shortfall in revenue. So watching that very closely, so on the top of my priority list. Other areas I've been focusing on recently were in the Salem. They're really concerned about the impact of short-term rental inventory is having on local jurisdictions and available long-term rentals. So I reported to them the good work that Tillamook's been doing, and that landed positively in the Housing Committee, and they're asking for more information on what's working well and what's not.
I'm really pushing to make sure we continue to let the local counties and cities decide how they want to manage their own short-term rental solutions. And so I'm confident that we'll get there, and whatever we come up with hopefully will look like resources for counties and cities to tap into rather than regulations and rules that handcuff how they work. We also heard from the cities and counties during one of our meetings on how they're struggling financially. They just don't have the funding, and that's largely due to the measures that have been passed in the 90s that limited how we could work with property taxes. And if we don't do something in this arena to change that, we're going to continue to have increasing financial difficulties, as I'm sure the county commissioners, you guys are aware. And we're trying to really crack that nut and figure out what we can do to get more money predictably coming into our counties, especially on the coastal community where we get a huge influx of tourists every year and we just don't have the infrastructure, which I know is a drum we've beat a million times, but it's something that we're not going to give up on. I think Senator Weber also talked about Measure 110 we're continuing to look at. I read a story in the Wall Street Journal that said that the Sinaloa cartel down in Mexico is going to cease producing fentanyl. They're getting too much pressure from the U.S. government, and they want them to focus on other drug cartels. So hopefully that means a little bit less of that drug coming in. It's very harmful. It's not made to American standards, and so it's easy to overdose on that, and that's what's tripping up a lot of people who end up using that, thinking it's going to be a safe dose that they're taking. They take too much, they stop breathing, and they die. So what we want to do is make it so we have the resources in place to help rescue those people, but at the same time trying to find a way to limit the amount of fentanyl and other illegal drugs that are coming in from our southern border. Other news I'm watching, Israel, Hamas, obviously that's dominating national news headlines, and we're looking to see what that response is going to be from the United States as well as Israel and other international partners. At the state level, this really hasn't impacted us at all, other than politicians are posturing and trying to line up on which side they're on. I'm squarely on the side of Israel, defending their territory and protecting. And I'm also interested in protecting the innocent Palestinians, and hope that we can deal with Hamas quickly, and that the international impact is not ongoing and forever. So. And other issues in the county, though, child care continues to be an issue that I'm working on weekly, and we definitely still need to find a solution there. It's still a major obstacle for a lot of people to find work that they need. And then events I'll be going to this week and next week. I have a Seaside Rotary event up this weekend. I'll be meeting with leaders up there and discussing issues that are affecting the northern part of our district. There's a beverage recycling tour I'm going to be doing down in Newport, which will impact all of our recycling operations up and down the coast. We have legislative days approaching, and still trying to decide kind of what direction we're going to go on with our bills. Our deadline's coming up the day after legislative days. And got a short list of things we're working on. Some of those have been submitted by our county commissioners, and I'm hoping to get one or two of those through the finish line this February. And that is it for my update. Any questions?
Thank you, Representative. Any questions, Commissioners? All right, not hearing it. Thank you for the work you're doing. I will be very curious to hear about anything that comes up on tax reform. This is definitely something that has been brought forward a number of times, I know, at the counties, Association of Oregon Counties level, but also recognize that any type of tax reform is a vote of the people, and it's very difficult to do. But I'm curious, and we'll be following the work that you all are doing on that. So thank you for being willing to take a look at that very heavy lift.
You're welcome. Thank you for all your support, and have a great week.
All right, thanks. I appreciate it, Representative. Okay, we will move on to the Tillamook County Community Health Center, and I don't see Ed or Marlene, but I know Rocky was here before and I didn't know her number. So I'm going to give a shout out to see who might be here. All right. I am not hearing anyone from the Community Health Center. So we will continue with the Nehalem Bay Health Center and Pharmacy.
Yes, good morning.
Good morning.
Just a few announcements. One is our community survey. We are collecting more information about what types of services individuals are interested in receiving in the future in the new building. We recognize that there are some who may not have had that opportunity, so we're opening it up. For more information, visit the main page of our website at nehalembayhealth.org. And of course, I can't be here today without saying if you're interested in vaccines or flu shots, please give us a call to schedule your appointment. Our number is 800-368-5182. And one last mention of our walking group. It's Tuesdays at 10 o'clock. We plan to continue through October as long as the weather holds. And we are, of course, here to serve you in many ways. If you're interested in scheduling an appointment with one of our medical providers, including behavioral health, please give us a call, 800-368-5182 for more information or to schedule an appointment. And thank you. Those are, my announcements for this morning.
Thank you, Gail. Appreciate that. Any questions for Gail? All right. Not hearing any. We will move on to Tillamook Family Counseling Center. Frank Hanna Williams.
Good morning, Commissioners. Frank Hanna Williams, Director, Tillamook Family Counseling Center, Behavioral Health Services for Tillamook County residents. Nothing specific just to comment on today. If you have questions about our services, appointments, any of the programs that we have here, our QPR program and our parenting series, please give us a call at 503-842-8201 or 1-800-962-2851. We're finishing up some major revisions to our website and hope to have that public in a couple of weeks. And again, if you have any other questions about anything that we're doing, please call those numbers, 503-842-8201, 1-800-962-2851, and I'll take any questions if anyone has any.
Thank you, Frank. Any questions for Frank? All right. Not hearing any. Thank you. And we will move on.
Thank you.
All right. So the Sheriff's Office. I believe I saw Sheriff Brown with us this morning. Good morning.
Good morning. I am here. I'll be short and sweet today. Just want to remind everybody that this Friday is day one of our 2-day hiring event. We held a similar event in the beginning part of the year, and it was very successful. We're hoping to have the same level of success with this one. Just a reminder that day one, Friday, is at the fairgrounds. Begins at 8 a.m. You need to bring your ID, and you should be applying so that the information can be input into your application for the actual written, the post test. That's what begins then. ORPAT begins just before lunchtime. I believe we have it scheduled for 11 or 11:30. Day two is interviews, and if you are able to make it past the first couple tests, and you succeed in that and you're able to make it to that next level, interviews would be Monday. That's not at the fairgrounds, it'll be at the office. More information would be given to you if you make it past that point and you are qualified to make it to the interview stage. So just wanted to make sure that clarification was there, and hopefully we'll just see a lot of people on Friday. And with that, I can take questions.
This is true.
Thank you, Sheriff. Any questions for the Sheriff?
I love you too, baby.
Okay, not hearing any. Thank you very much. We will move on to Emergency Management. Randy Thorpe.
Good morning, Commissioner.
Good morning.
I'm multitasking here. I'm also on an online class on my computer, so we're going to see how well I can do. So anyway, first thing I have is that I'd like to remind everybody that on October 19th, which is Thursday at 10:19 sharp, we are going to have our shakeout and then move out of the tsunami zone countywide drill. And this is, like I say, in conjunction with our nationwide Great American Shakeout. Forecast is for sunny skies, so we are going to have a nice drill in beautiful weather and not under adverse conditions. So hopefully we'll have a lot of participation this Thursday. Just kind of a warning or something to think about is king tides this year. We're going to have our first king tide, of course, the weekend right after Thanksgiving on the 25th through the 27th. So something to put on your calendar and kind of remember that we will start having some increased activity through the winter. Our next king tide is in December 13th through the 15th, and then we do January 11th through the 13th, and then February 8th through the 9th. So hopefully the king tides will just be nice to look at and won't cause any major concerns for us, but they're always something that we need to watch out for. So with that, that's all I've got. I'll turn it back to you, Commissioner.
Thank you, Randy. Any questions for Randy before we let him go back to class? All right, not hearing any. Go learn good things, Randy. Okay, we will move on to the Board of Commissioners. Commissioner Bell.
Good morning. Well, I'd like to just emphasize what Randy said about the Great American Shakeout and encourage everyone in the tsunami zone in Tillamook County to practice your tsunami evacuation route on Thursday morning. If you're wondering if your community is involved in the tsunami evacuation drill, you can get on the county website, go to the Emergency Management tab, and scroll down and you'll see websites, links for different community preparedness groups, and you'll find out which community preparedness groups are participating in this, and so you can join your community in evacuating. But also, you don't have to join anybody in evacuating. If you live or work in a tsunami zone, you need to know your route out, and so you can just evacuate yourself and see how long it takes you. See if you have any problems with it. See what the challenges are, or, you know, if you, it'll be great news if you get out of your tsunami zone up to an evacuation point in 15 minutes with no problem. That'll be great news. So everybody in our community should be aware of the danger of earthquakes and tsunamis. And so we just encourage you to start with this drill on Thursday, and you'll be hearing more from us about forthcoming drills, because it's something that should be in our awareness all the time. Like on the coast, are you in a tsunami zone? And if you are, where is the evacuation route? So Thursday morning, 10:19. Practice your earthquake 10:19, and that might last 3 minutes. And thereafter, practice your evacuation route. I'd also like to mention that this morning I was up for a 7 o'clock meeting with the Northwest Oregon Housing Authority. We are we've been interviewing candidates for director, and that's pretty exciting. We were in the commissioners on the NOAA board were in Warrenton on Saturday interviewing director candidates, and so as of this morning, our board decided to make an offer to a candidate, so that's exciting, and I hope I'll have good news to share about that soon. We had the big excitement in our office is last night we had panel interviews for the 6 finalists who are have volunteered to be commissioner when David Yamamoto retires, which is by the end of this year. He's retiring a year early before his term ends. So we're in the process of appointing a commissioner to fill out his term, and we will presumably decide that. At least we'll deliberate on it on Wednesday. Commissioner Scar and I will have to make the decision. We're interested, of course, in Commissioner Yamamoto's opinion, but the by ORS, by statute, it's Commissioner Scar and I who will have to vote, so we'll have to agree on somebody. And so we'll start that deliberation at our regular meeting on Wednesday. But what I want to say about it is how fortunate we are as a county, as a community, to have such strong, talented, bright people volunteering to fill that position. You know, we're so lucky. We're there. We have 6 finalists, and each of them would bring something extraordinary to the job. And so I was sorting through that information this morning, because every single one of them would bring something really very valuable to the job and to the county. So Aaron and I have a difficult decision to make, but luckily for us, we couldn't make a bad decision in the bunch. So stay tuned on that, and thank you to everyone who we interviewed last night. They did a phenomenal job. They're just such an outstanding group of citizens, and I'm deeply grateful. And the last thing I want to mention is that October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and as a breast cancer survivor, I just want to speak up and encourage people to get screened. Get your mammogram, get screened. Breast cancer is shockingly common. 1 in 8 American women will experience breast cancer in her lifetime. So I did the math real quickly this morning. That's 12.5%. So 12.5% of our population will experience breast cancer in her lifetime. And that, you know, in a county of 27,000 people, we can reasonably assume that half of us are women, so 13.5. So 12.5% of 13,500 is 1,687 Tillamook County women. 1,687 women in Tillamook County, women and girls, will experience breast cancer in their lifetime. So it's really very important that we get screened. The American Cancer Society recommends screening every year for women 40 and over. So I just received my notice from Adventist Health Tillamook reminding me to schedule my screening. So I'll call and do it today. And I encourage every woman who's listening to this to call and schedule your screening today if you're due. And I encourage every man who's listening to this to ask the women you love. Ask your wives, your mothers, your sisters, hey, have you gotten your breast cancer screening? Because the Adventist Health Tillamook now has a 3D mammo machine that's really, really cool. What's great about it is that it takes hundreds of pictures, whereas previously with the old school mammography, they took a couple of pictures. Now the 3D mammo takes hundreds of pictures. So you have it done every year, and the radiologist reviews not only the current screens, the computer helps identify anomalies in the pictures, but then they can compare this year's screen to the previous year's screen and see if anything has changed in minute detail when it's really, really very small. So the goal is early detection, because early detection saves lives. And if you catch a cancer when it's very small, microscopic, they can take it out. People might not even need radiation or chemotherapy. If it's very small, the treatment is mild, and people's survival rate is very high. It's when you wait too long and it grows and spreads that people's lives are at risk. So early detection saves lives. Go get your mammogram. That's all I have to say. Thanks.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Yamamoto.
Yes, good morning. Thank you for the opportunity. I'm sorry I missed the last community update teleconference call. I was not in town. But what I want to talk about is the last 2 Fridays, we have started our work, and when I say the Council of Forest Trust Land Counties, I'm the chair of the Council of Forest Trust Land Counties, and the governor has reached out to us, knowing that the trust counties are going to be hit really hard financially because of the habitat conservation plan. She realizes that. She understands that. So we appreciate the governor reaching out, and we are in weekly conversations now with the governor's staff. And that staff includes Jeff Huntington, who is the governor's senior natural resource advisor, as well as Melissa Cribbins, formerly a Coos County commissioner, and interestingly, Palmer Mason. Palmer Mason is from the Department of Land Conservation. And when I was introduced to Palmer, I didn't know why someone from DLCD, Department of Land Conservation Development, was on this team for the governors. And it was explained to me that the reason the governor wanted Palmer Mason on this team for the governor's office is because of his excellent relationship with legislators. And it was explained to me that there's going to be an ask from the legislature. The governor can't just spend money. It has to be budgeted by the legislature. And so she wanted someone on the inside that had a great working relationship with all of the legislators to do a fiscal ask. One of the things that we've talked about is that there is probably a small possibility that ask may occur in this upcoming short session. That's a very tight timeline, and I personally don't think we're going to make it. But if we can, I think that's something that we need to take into account. So again, we had two initial meetings. This was several weeks ago, where any and all commissioners from the 15 trust counties could be online and have a conversation with the governor's office to explain in detail how this HCP, this Habitat Conservation Plan, was going to affect their county. And believe me, the governor's office got an earful. So now finally we have put together what we're calling a small table group. So this included the 3 people from the governor's office, as well as 5 commissioners from the Council of Forest Trust Land Counties. And so the first meeting was just kind of a get-to-know-you meeting, and these are the ground rules that we're going to have. And the second meeting was a little more detailed. We got into some draft guiding principles, as well as some data questions that the governor wants. Matter of fact, we got a spreadsheet from the governor's office late last week, actually came out on Monday. And so I'm going to be meeting with the treasurer, Sean Blanchard, to fill this out. The governor wants to know exactly who within the county, such as our 20 special districts in Tillamook County, as well as how it's going to affect our general fund. So this is very complex work, but we're making some progress. Honestly, not quite as quickly as I was hoping we would, especially if the governor's office has some indication that she wants to do this in the short session. So draft bills have to be put together by mid-November, and we're already in mid-October. And we really haven't gotten to the detailed conversations of exactly what the governor is thinking about when it comes to making sure that the trust counties aren't devastated by this Habitat Conservation Plan. We are in our early conversations, nothing is off the table. And I keep telling Jeff Huntington that there may be more than a single solution. Matter of fact, with the 15 trust counties, and again, with AOC, the Association of Oregon Counties, we say that if you've seen one Oregon county, you've seen one Oregon county. So for 15 trust land counties, I don't think we're going to have a single solution that's going to work for everyone. So I think what's going to happen, we may have multiple solutions that are going to have to be worked out. So again, this gets very, very complicated moving forward. And I'm not exactly sure how it's going to work, but we're in the conversation. We have to be at the table. We have to be able to see exactly what the governor's office might be able to offer us. Are we going to come to a solution? We don't know. We hope so. So anyway, I just wanted to report that we're not able to really speak in detail about what's going on in these negotiations. These are private negotiations. The governor's office sets up these meetings. and invites us to these meetings. So I'll keep you informed as best I can as we continue to move forward. Again, we're having meetings every Friday, and keep your fingers crossed that we can find a way to alleviate some of the huge economic pressure that's going to be put on the trust counties, especially the big three: Tillamook County, Clatsop County, and Washington County. But that does not mean that the smaller trust counties with even less than 10,000 acres of forest land, they will have an equal voice as we move forward in these negotiations. So with that, Commissioner Scar, I'll turn it back over to you. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Appreciate that. My fellow commissioners have covered a lot this morning, so I will try to keep my remarks short. We had the candidate interviews, as Commissioner Bell spoke about, and I echo her comments. There was an amazing group of people who are willing to step up and serve our county, and we had them on the hot seat for more than 2 hours last night, just in a public meeting doing a job interview. So that's a pretty difficult thing to do, and they all did an amazing job. If you're interested in listening, the audio is available for last week's forum, and then will be available later this morning for last night's interviews. So feel free to listen and get to know who is interested in being your county commissioner. As Commissioner Bell did indicate, we will begin our deliberations tomorrow, probably at the end of our regularly scheduled board meeting. It will come up as a unscheduled agenda item because we weren't sure if we were going to start last night or when we were going to, what steps exactly time-wise we would take for deliberation. So we will begin tomorrow at the end of our regularly scheduled meeting. I'll just couple quick things around the services related to those experiencing homelessness. We have a group that is meeting to really work through the strategic plan that we have created. That group is currently in the process of choosing its name, so it's a little confusing at the moment. We currently are calling it the it's the Coordinated Homelessness Collaborative, which is a hard name to say, so it gets shortened to the CHC, but that is confusing with some other things in our community that use CHC, so that group is looking for a name. But they yesterday did some really good work on establishing committees that will begin meeting. There will be a committee on youth homelessness, a committee on funding, a committee on shelter, and a committee on community education and outreach. So those 4 committees were established yesterday and will begin to put together their work plans, charters, and what they hope to achieve over the next year in alignment with the strategic plan. So good work starting, very excited about that, and we will get a meeting set up monthly for that, and we'll let people know when and how that's happening. It will be based on a membership, and people will be able to join as a member if they would like. There will simply be some commitments that organizations or individuals would make to join that group. So more to come on that. We were awarded a grant in another area. This was actually for our opioid response and our substance use disorder response in Tillamook County. This is a grant that was applied for through our Tillamook with the county as the fiscal agent, and the grant is called the COSSEP grant. I'm not even going to try to remember what those 6 letters stand for because COSSEP is an acronym, but this is a grant that brings $1 million to the county for use over a 3-year period to add tools to our toolbox, skills, and prevention curriculum to Tillamook relating to opioid use and substance use. So there will be funding to bring the Hazelden Betty Ford Foundation's evidence-based prevention program to all 3 of our school districts for 3 years. I believe 2 out of the 3, maybe even 3, have already committed to this curriculum and are very excited to have used it for 1 year. This will extend that and continue their use of the curriculum. There will be crisis intervention training for our law enforcement. This is a huge piece. It's something that Chief Rao has been championing, and Interim Chief Troxel is excited to pick up that ball and carry that forward. It will be available to all of our law enforcement agencies throughout the county. There will be 2 part-time peers hired specifically to work with law enforcement in working with individuals that they contact who they believe would benefit due to substance use disorder or opioid use. So we have some more peers in our community. There will also be a contract to work to improve and enhance our data collection process around overdoses. It's one of the challenges we have in our community is knowing how many overdoses we really have in order to evaluate our efforts and know if we are making a difference. So we will be looking at creating a local collection process for that. This grant will also provide for additional Narcan and outreach supplies, which has been crucial in our harm reduction program. One of the ways that we are really able to help and able to have good contact with people who may be using now but are considering a different option and change in their life is by being able to have outreach materials, including Narcan, to engage with them. So it's a wonderful opportunity, great funding for our community. I know that people are very concerned about the overdose numbers in Tillamook County. We all are, and this is one more step that we are taking as a community collaborative to address our overdoses. So an exciting grant award there. And I'm going to stop there, and I'm going to move right on to our cities. So we should have Mayor Deb Simmons from Manzanita with us today.
Hello, Commissioner Starr. Can you hear me okay?
I can. Good morning, and welcome back.
Thank you, and I want to thank those who stepped in for me while I was under the weather. In Manzanita, there are 3 surveys online, one with a dark sky ordinance, one with wayfinding, and another about a 20-mile-per-hour speed limit in the city. These will be posted on the website until Friday, October 20th. We have one city council position open, going through similar what you've been going through. Applications will be accepted until October 27th at 5 p.m. This will be a commitment of a little over 3 years, and that appointment will be made at the November City Council meeting. The Mayor's Monday will be on hold for a few weeks, and when we get a location and time back, I will post that on the website when we start up again. Beginning in November, the Planning Commission will begin meeting on the second Monday of the month. And I think that's it for Manzanita. Thank you once again for making this broadcast possible. I'll turn it back over to you, Commissioner.
Thank you so much. Okay, we will move on to Rockaway Beach. Mayor McNeely.
Good morning, Charles McNeely from Rockaway Beach. Let me start by saying that I recognize that not everyone is available to come to our Thursday morning coffee with manager and mayor. So I'm going to hold a What's on Your Mind session this coming Saturday, October 21st at 10 a.m. It'll be downstairs in the City Hall Council Room for those in our community that simply aren't available on a Thursday morning. I'll add that our Planning Commission is meeting at 4:30 in City Hall this coming Thursday, and it should be a very interesting meeting because they'll be looking at an application to develop land in the Lake Lytle area up to and including about 84 lots. So if you're at all interested in what goes on at a Planning Commission when they're really down the weeds looking at land use, this would be a great meeting to dial into or attend. I'm excited to mention that we were granted a $250,000 paving grant from ODOT, and we're going to use the money to do an overlay in a substantial portion of North Pacific Street. If you've ever driven in that area, Rockaway Beach, it's long overdue. We didn't have enough applicants to grant all of our community grant funds this year, so we've reopened the application window for another 2 months. So anybody out there with a nonprofit that would like to apply, please go to our website, and all the information and materials are there to submit your application. And with that, I'll pass it back to you, Commissioner.
Thank you, Mayor. Appreciate that. And it's exciting to hear that you have some development happening in Rockaway. So we'll all be looking forward to see how that goes. Okay, you betcha. All right, moving on to the city of Garibaldi. I believe that we have our interim mayor, Katie Finley, with us today.
Yes, hi.
Good morning.
So just a couple quick updates today. We did just want to share that on November 28th at 10 a.m. we will be celebrating our Coast Guard City designation. I believe the event will be moved to the Old Mill, but we will be coming up with details and sending those out in the coming weeks. We're super excited about that, about the honor of becoming a Coast Guard city. And then we did not, unfortunately, get to choose our new counselor last night. 2 of the 4 candidates that had submitted their letters were unable to make it. And on a more somber note, one of them, his son is actually missing, and the missing persons case has been filed. But there are details all over Facebook about it. But if anybody does see Tommy White, he's about 5'6", 21 with blue eyes. He's been missing since Saturday. We do really hope that you'll call Cheryl, his mom. So feel free to reach out to me for any of those details, or just if you happen to see him. That would be great. Thank you.
Thank you, Katie. Okay, moving on to Bay City. I believe we have interim mayor Kathleen Baker with us.
Hey, good morning, everyone. Thank you. Actually, I don't have any comments and nothing to add today other than thank you for all the work that you guys do for our community.
Thank you. Okay, moving on to the city of Tillamook. City Manager Nathan George.
Good morning, Commissioner.
Good morning.
Thank you very much. Yes, first of all, I wanted to cover our council meeting last night, just in brevity. Our minutes were adopted. We also had an Extra Mile Day proclamation for everyone that does the extra work on community, which we really appreciate. The Tillamook Area Chamber of Commerce had their tourism management program initial scope of work, which was accepted by the council, and that the city provides TRT funding, transient room tax, which is to the chamber, which is actually called transient lodging tax now by state law, but we still call it TRT here at the city. The city is entertaining a new ordinance to amend provisions and clarifications of the city's sewer lateral enforcement code regarding testing, inspections, repair, and replacement, and to require point-of-sale sewer lateral inspections. So we had a lot of discussion on that. It was just first reading. First reading was held, and we will hold the second reading in the next meeting, or we'll consider additional discussion. Council had a lot of things that they wanted to look at, and we'll be working on putting together for them. So if anybody has specific questions, please call the city and talk to myself or our Public Works Department. As I have announced in the past, we have one counselor who is still elected and on council but unable to attend currently for various reasons. So the council actually had noticed in the paper and social media and our website for the last 3+ weeks, of a vacancy on Ward 2, and we had one applicant, Jason Hopkins, who's also the husband of our counselor, is not able to attend, and the council appointed him as a temporary position. So just the way that works, that's in our charter, that allows the council to appoint a temporary person in a ward if a counselor is not able to attend, and until that person can return. As soon as that person returns, then the temporary appointment is no longer on council. So we also held the second reading, which is approved an ordinance repealing the City of Code Tillamook regarding public contracting rules. So as I reported the last radio update, City Council has updated their purchasing code to be in alignment with the recommended public purchasing rules through the League of Oregon Cities. So we've adopted that, and this was just cleaning up our code to allow that to take place in our code. Also, we had a resolution amending our mayor and council's monthly stipend. The stipend did not change. It was simply cleaning up an old resolution and some old discussions and some voice votes, etc., that were kind of floating around and are now in an ordinance, in a resolution to make it clear and to make it as it should be. So nothing really changes other than solidifying that in a new resolution. And then we had our normal updates. And one last thing on the council agenda, we talked about a mid-street crosswalk. Many residents and councils have asked us, hey, can we put in a crosswalk between the city parking lot and the hardware store, which is known as Kimmel's, there on on First Street, and we looked. I shouldn't say we, but our staff, our police department, planning department, Public Works got together, walked the property, looked at our plans, and in our transportation plan, it strongly recommends against having mid-street crosswalks because of the danger to community. And one of our danger to the pedestrians and to the drivers. One of the things our council brought up is they felt like if we had one there, we'd have to one in every single spot downtown. So, but however, the city will be looking at some different things, putting additional signage, doing some cleanup on different vegetation or foliage. Also looking at removing some parking lots to make better sight and better better travel for trucks, et cetera, et cetera. So all those things are on there. If anybody has questions, they can always call the city. So also wanted to let you all know, Mayor Burris, Councilor Reynolds, and Councilor Knopfsinger and I had the opportunity to attend the League of Oregon Cities annual conference at the end of last week. This year is held in Eugene, and all of us were able to attend many great sessions, connect with others in similar positions, and swap ideas with other cities in Oregon. One of the things that was reassuring to hear is that many other communities throughout the state are having the same issues with delayed maintenance and wastewater and water and streets and other infrastructure that's just never been addressed. So that, though it's still it's reassuring to have other people in the same place, but we're also, of course, got a lot to do. And the elected officials also provide some updates on what they learned last night, which was really great, our council meeting. In the police department, our police department has once again applied for and been awarded a grant supporting enhanced traffic enforcement patrols. This type of funding is essential and provides more than the city can provide. So we thank our police department for hard work in pursuing this grant, and many others are available from time to time. This really helps fund us in many ways to help provide that law enforcement service for our community. Patrol activities in the police department are busy. Our patrol officers are working very hard daily to provide the best customer service and response possible with limited resources. Lieutenant Trox will attend a statewide training/tabletop exercise in response to a line of duty deaths of sworn law enforcement in the state of Oregon. Lieutenant Trox was a board member of the Oregon Fallen Badge Foundation. This training was hosted by the Umatilla Sheriff's Office and organized by the Oregon Fallen Badge Foundation. There were several agencies in attendance, and I'm just going to list them real quickly here because there's quite a few. Hillsborough Police Department, Oregon State Police, Lake Oswego Police Department, Clackamas County Sheriff's Office, Oregon Department of Corrections, Baker City Police Department, Seaside Police Department, Ashland Police Department, Medford Police Department, Mount Angel Police Department, even the Boise Police Department, and the Bend Police Department. So that's exciting. The Tillamook County Office of Emergency Management held the annual winter preparedness meeting. Lieutenant Trox will attend the meeting representing the city. We're pleased to announce that the services that the city provides, which are namely our law enforcement and our public works department, are in a good position to respond to any winter weather disaster or inclement weather. We want to thank the county, especially Randy Thorpe, for his and their leadership in emergency preparedness and management. In the public works department, I'm sure many of you seen, but we're excited to announce that the SC Paving Company has paved half of 5th Street from Still Avenue to Elm Avenue. They will continue to pave Elm Avenue to Douglas Avenue to complete the 5th Street improvement project. And to guarantee the community safety and accelerate the construction process, 5th Street from Elm Avenue to Douglas Avenue will be closed during the paving procedure from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m., actually starting this morning. We recommend planning accordingly to have limited space, recommend planning accordingly to have limited to no access during this area during the maintenance project. The job is expected to be completed within 3 days, depending on the weather. Parking spots for the homes will be inaccessible during construction. Alternate routes and parking will be available in surrounding streets, and we ask that local residents use caution at times until paving is completed and beware of construction signage, barricades, and moving equipment. We hope to impose as little disruption as possible and work with you if you have individual needs. So if you do have individual needs or concerns, please contact our main number, and you can go to the Public Works Department. Also, you can email publicworks@tillamookor.gov. It's just one word, publicworks@tillamookor.gov. So, door hanger notices for water shutoffs due to late payments will be hung on doors around noon today. To pay your utility bill, please visit our website, tillamookor.gov, or call our main number and you can get to our utilities division. And also, we're excited to announce that we have a free outdoor movie night this Friday. We will stream the movie Hocus Pocus, depending on weather, at Goodspeed Park. October 20th, this Friday. This movie begins at 7 p.m. It's a free, family-friendly event for children and adults of all ages and abilities to enjoy a movie and popcorn in the heart of Tillamook. Please bring your seats of choice, chairs, blankets, etc., any additional snacks, and non-alcoholic beverages for your enjoyment. And don't forget to spread the word by telling your family, friends, and neighbors. We look forward to seeing you there. And if you'd like to become a sponsor for future movie nights events, please contact our Public Works Department. And we have lots of information to contact them. Just contact us or look on our website and we can get you a hold of them. Fun fact, did you know that asphalt is America's most recycled product? According to the National Asphalt Pavement Association, the asphalt industry recycles at a rate of 99%. We have several positions available at the city looking for applicants, especially in the Public Works Department and also in our Planning Department. And now that our starting wages have significantly increased, we are confident this will help with our employee attraction and retention. Please visit our website or stop by City Hall for an application. Reminder, if you see something, say something by calling 911 or dispatch for non-emergencies. And a reminder that the Town Hall will be discussing wastewater issues for the City of Tillamook residents at Tillamook Bay Community College at 6 p.m. on Monday, October 30th in the large conference room upstairs near the main entrance. So that is also on our website. It's on our Facebook page. It has been mailed out in every single water bill that went out this month. And we've talked about in the council meeting, I've announced on the radio, so we hope that we'll have lots of residents there to talk about these issues, to talk about future enforcement, talk about what's going on in our community and how we can work together to get this done. Also, we're pleased to announce that a representative of our city, the city's partner HomeServe USA, which does the warranties for lateral and sewer, for lateral and water line, sewer and lateral water lines, will be there in person to help discuss and explain how the sewer and water lateral line warranty can help save residents thousands of dollars in repairs. And finally, the last council meeting will be held, next council meeting, not the last council meeting, excuse me. The regular council meeting, the next regular council meeting will be held on Monday, November 6th at 7 p.m. And we encourage anyone interested to please attend. And that's all I have, Commissioner. Thank you.
Thank you, Nathan. Lots happening in the city of Tillamook.
Yes.
All right. We will move on to South County. Doug Olson.
Good morning, Commissioner. Not too much going on in the county on the south end as of the moment, so I'll put on my PUD director hat for a moment. We do have our monthly meeting today, and rather than meet at the regular office in Tillamook, we'll be meeting at the Hebo Fire Station. PUD has resumed what it did for many years prior to the pandemic. We have one meeting a year in the spring up north, usually in Manzanita, sometimes Rockaway, I think also Garibaldi, and then another meeting in the fall in South County, and we've met in Pacific City, Nescoin, and today we'll meet at the Hebo Fire Station. We have a work session on the budget at 3 o'clock, and then our regular meeting at 6. And incidentally, the budget year for PUD is the calendar year, unlike a lot of schools and cities and counties that have their fiscal year begin on July 1. So if you're interested at all in the PUD budget, you can come to the work session at 3 o'clock or the regular meeting at 6. And by the way, the fire station in Hebo has a really, really great meeting room open to the public. You'll need to call and make some reservations, but it's a great meeting room with screens and whiteboards and some parking, and so it's a pretty good place if you need a gathering of some sort in South County. So that's about it for this week, Commissioner. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you, Doug. Appreciate that. All right. Well,
Scar, may I add one thing? If Suzanne.
Absolutely, Senator.
Tomorrow is an opportunity in our community to help raise funds for Shop with a Cop. The Dutch Mill is having a fundraiser tomorrow starting at 4 o'clock in the afternoon to raise funds to make sure that every kid has a good Christmas. And so if you're available, you want a great hamburger in a wonderful atmosphere, go to the Dutch Mill after 4 o'clock. Contribute to Shop with a Cop. Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate you bringing that up. Okay. Well, now that we all know where to eat on Wednesday. Yes.
I apologize, it's Nathan George. Could I add just a couple of quick things?
You bet.
I appreciate. Number one, I wanted to announce that Jamie Christensen is now our newest and first ever Assistant City Manager, and that will be very helpful to have someone as a backup for when I am unavailable. So we're excited about that. Also wanted to thank Senator Weber and Representative Javity for all they do in helping secure funds for our community. And also wanted to announce that the city of Tillamook is doing a little bit different for a holiday this year. And we actually have a committee that Councilor Henson had talked about in the council meeting last night, and he's looking for some additional volunteers from our community. So he asked you can contact him or contact the city and we can get you in touch with him. So that's all I have. Thank you so much. I apologize.
Perfect. No, that's all right. Thank you. Anybody else have a forgotten item? It can happen, and it can be crucial and time sensitive. Okay, not hearing any. I'm going to thank KTIL for broadcasting, everyone for attending, and I'm going to adjourn this meeting at 9:10 a.m. Have a wonderful day.